All right. Well, I guess let's start this off like usual. What do you say? I'm gonna play a game of pool and get warmed up and wait for some of you to show up. Enjoy my intro.
Hello, American patriots. I come to you today to let you know that your government cannot overpower you, and that you, as the people, hold your own fate and your way of life in the palm of your hands. You are under the watchful eye of an ever-increasingly tyrannical government, but within that government lies patriots just like you. For fear of retaliation from that very government and the safety of my family, I'm forced to cover my face like a common criminal, like a coward. I've been told that my thoughts are traitorous and that my actions un-American. Why? Because I support the people? Because I support the Constitution? I'm here today to say to those of you that are asleep that you are the traitor. You that stand idly by as our freedoms are slowly stripped from us are the un-American. I ask civilians on the street if they're aware of the form of government that this United States was founded on. Almost every one of them proudly stated democracy. We spread democracy across the world, I've heard. Let me read to you Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution of the United States of America. The United States shall guarantee to every state in the Union a republican form of government, and it shall protect each of them against invasion and on application of the legislature or of the executive when legislature cannot be convened against domestic violence. Tell me if this one sounds familiar. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. How did we get so far from our roots? And while I'm on pledges, many of you might have seen the YouTube video produced by Harpo Productions, where dozens of celebrities pledged to be a servant to our president, mankind. A servant to our president. Last time I checked, our president is a servant to the people. And I pledge no allegiance to any man. You know what I pledge? I pledge that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, both foreign and domestic, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, so help me God. That's what I pledge. And that's the pledge that every U.S. service member makes. Yet it seems most of them don't even know what's in the Constitution. Second Amendment, written December 15, 1791. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Shall not be infringed. I consider any laws that affect my right to keep and bear arms as an infringement on that right. You lawmakers out there, go ahead. Push past the Blair Holtz H.R. 45 bill. We'll use every avenue of peaceful resolve that we have. But you push our backs against the wall, and we will push back. Next is the 10th Amendment. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution or prohibited by it to the states are reserved to the states respectively or the people. So all these laws that the government passes, like you having to give your child shot known to cause autism before your child can attend public school, the restrictions of homeschooling, the banning of medicines that help people, gun control being referred to the committee right now as I speak, the suspension of habeas corpus, so many unconstitutional laws that 9 states have already declared sovereignty of the United States government, and it's expected that over 20 did. I was proud whenever I read the Oklahoma resolution that this serve as notice and demand to the federal government as our agents to cease and desist effective immediately mandates that are beyond the scope of these constitutionally delegated powers. That's passion, conviction, dedication of the Oklahoma residents. And they're not alone. We, the American patriots, are tired of standing idly by. This is a call to arms. Support the sovereignty of your states. Reclaim your freedoms. Write your senators. Write your congressmen. Write your state representatives. For you American citizens that are asleep, there's something going on around you. If you can't see it, it's only because you're so self-absorbed in your trinkets and your cell phones and your video games, your corporate jobs. There's a revolution brewing under the surface of your country and you don't even know it. If I ask you if you're awake and you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to start searching for information. You need to read your Constitution. You need to know your rights. Look at what started the first revolution. Do research on your monetary system. Keyword the Federal Reserve. Ask yourself a simple question. Do I want to be free? Or do I just ask for a protective master to watch over me? Time for you to make that choice is at hand. The enemies of the Constitution are not far away in some distant desert. They're found right here on our own soil. We have become complacent. We've allowed the tyrants to take over this country, and we have no one to blame but ourselves. The time is now. We must rise up together as one voice and resist while we still have the ability to resist. I know many of you are afraid of the government. You wonder how can you fight something as strong as the U.S. military? I ask you this question. Who is it that's behind those rifles that you fear?
Preach it, brother.
They are your sons, your daughters, your mothers, and your fathers. They're American citizens just like you. And let me assure you that there is a resistance within the military. We will not be silent. We will not obey. We will not allow the American people to be harmed and their rights be taken away in any manner. We will not disarm the American people during martial law. Let me assure you, patriots, that we will die fighting our brothers in arms if we must, but we will not fight our country. Our lives will be stake on this. Patriots, the time is at hand. If the government pushes us into a corner, then I wish you well. The fight that lies before us will be the toughest thing our generations have ever endured. Your grandchildren's grandchildren will read about how you fought for their freedoms.
Damn right they will.
I only hope they will not be as foolish as we in allowing the government to ever do this again. Patriots, I'll leave you with the saying that my father left me with the day that I left the Marine Corps. Keep your chins up, your heads down, and dig your foxholes deep. Godspeed, and Semper Fidelis.
Never forget what is in front of us, brothers and sisters. We've allowed this to get so far. We have such little time to stop it, let alone prepare for it.
What's up? Good day, man.
Never stop being a patriot.
Good to see you here. Yeah. Have you heard about all the crap they've been going after? Like, at first I felt like you saw all these dudes that had they had their space channels and they did all this stuff about, space and all that. And they grew like crazy. But as soon as they actually did some real research and realized the Earth is flat, it's kind of funny, like, all of a sudden their channel got messed with. Nothing would come up anymore. Kind of amazing. Oh. Kind of amazing. Alright, so we got some good stuff to go over. And we will start with this. I was kind of hoping to get some more people here first. Never know how many people are freaking on here because how this thing is. Freaking irritating. Very, very irritating. Alright. I know I should get my computer actually figured out. I know. I suck.
Welcome to Flat Out Elected. My name is Rand Campbell. The depths of this message will certainly pierce the hearts of those intended to receive it today. It is a beautiful day here in the Dominican Republic. It's hot, but there are some wonderful breezes passing through. And being here in the jungle, you get a real sense of God through the nature and through the beauty and tranquility of the stillness. It is absolutely wonderful. God is working with me, and I hope that God is as well working with you, and that you are attuned to that of which He is doing for you in your life. Today I want to talk about what identifies you, because our true identity is most certainly not that of which we project. You know, circumstances, environments, and personality play a big part in who it is that we appear to be. But according to God's scripture, according to God's word,
What up?
we are made in the image of God. So when you take who you are and you reflect it against God and His identity in scripture, is that who you're seeing? Are you seeing the image of God when you look at yourself? When you question who it is that you are? When you're alone, when you're by yourself and there's nobody around and it's just you, are you the same person then as you are in a crowd? Are you the same person then when you're interacting intimately with another person? Who are you really? What and who identifies you? Now, I'm talking to everybody. I'm not talking about just those that are in Christ or of Christ and that Christ would be within them. I'm talking about everybody. What is it about you that you think is the truth? Because most people wear masks. Most people put on airs about themselves. Most people alter their personalities or their projection of self according to environment and circumstance, according to the moment. You know, we're never always the same. There is a left and a right to us. There is an up and a down to us. You know, sometimes we can be on target and we can be aligned to the moment, and our truths can be projected. But for the most part, I think that most of us, you know, we become this world as a result of the indoctrination and as a result of the influence from those of which have influenced us and directed us to where it is that we are today and who it is that we are. I've said this before. It doesn't matter where you go in this world, there goes you. You still have to go with you. So who is it that you are? Who are you really? When you think about it deep inside of you, if you're made in the image of God, do you see the image of God in your projection of self? Do you see the image of God in your own reflection? When you think about the people in your life, are they operating in the image of God? And do you even know what the image of God is? Because we don't know what our own image is. We have been so lost and tied into the indoctrinations of this world. We have been so altered and confused and made to be as the world is. That would be the image of the world. So humanity is definitely 100% for sure, a reflection of this world. And that's why we are not to be of the world and look nothing like the world. We are to be holy. And holy, it doesn't mean better than anybody. It just means separate, to be different. So if the world is projecting or reflecting the image of the world and not the image of which you were created, then who are you? Are you operating in the image of God? Are you operating in the likeness of God? We were given a very, very clear example of the likeness of God through Jesus Christ. That's as close and as accurate a likeness to God as we will ever see. Are you compelled? Are you driven to be in the likeness of Christ? To be different from this world? To be separate from this world? Because if you are, then you're going to have moments when you're trying to be in the likeness of Christ in this very deceived world. You're going to have moments where you feel as though you're falling apart. But here you are. You're right here, right now, in this moment. And you're being held together. There is an adhesive within you that holds you together. You're not falling apart. You see, the world would lead you to believe that you're falling apart because it wants you to identify yourself through the world and that you're a reflection of its direction. But you're not. Your direction is not death. Your direction is life in Christ. So your spirit is aching to represent you and aching that you would be represented by that of which is within you. I love scripture when it says, he that is in you is stronger than he that is in the world. That means that if Christ is truly within you, then you're going to be able to be removed from this world if you lean on his strength, if you lean on him and not your own flesh. You see, your flesh desires the ways of the world. Your mind is the devil's playground. Your mind is the in-between. It is the bridge between your flesh and your soul. That's why you need a renewing of the mind in order for you to be able to be in your true identity, which is not of this world. Who you really are, by design, by the fashioning of the hands of God, looks nothing like this world. All of these people, I see people after people after people after people who are living in personality and not trying to drive themselves deeper into truth reality. You see, personality is not person reality. Let me just say that one more time. Personality is not truth reality. Here, let me give you guys a taste of some real truth in the world that is so hidden from people. It's about Admiral Law and the power of words, and how words, the words you think have one meaning,
Of the other meaning.
Yep. They don't even mean the same thing to those that write the laws, and those that write the laws write them in that those laws do not apply to them. These are laws directly in application of slavery. Your mind has been absolutely taken over, and you have been deceived. Watch a small portion of this video, and like I said, I'll put the link in the description for you guys to click so you can see the whole video. Watch this, and I'll be right back.
Understanding words is what you really need to start doing. You need to start doing your homework and understanding words. If you put an S in front of words, it becomes swords. And that's what words are. They're cutting. They can cause you great trouble. Humans are word control creatures. So we need to establish what words mean. Again, when we talk about law, there's a Roman maximum in law that says, for he that would be deceived, let him. Simply meaning, if you are so ignorant as to be deceived, then that's your business. That's your problem. So you need to do your homework and find out what the words mean, especially in relation to law and government. Because there is a world of occultism that is operating today throughout the world, in which you use certain words, and when those words are used in a court, they don't mean the same thing at all. Understanding law and the words of law, there are two things that this planet has: water and earth, water and land. Consequently, there are two kinds of law. the law of the land and the law of water. You've heard the term law of the land, but in point of fact, that's precisely what this word means, law of the land, because it is the people who live on land. And that is opposed to something else called the law of the high seas, or the law of water. You need to understand the difference. The law of the land is the law of the culture that lives on the land. And so consequently, the law of the land is different in every country. You can do things in America you can't do in Russia. You can do things in Africa you can't do in England. So the law of the land is the law of the culture that lives on that particular land. However, there is a higher law that dominates the entire world. It's called the law of the water, or the law of the high seas. The law of water is referred to as the law of money. It doesn't matter what color you are, where you're from, or where you live. Money is money. And anytime you're doing banking or using money, you are now under the law of water, maritime admiralty. If you go back in history, in ancient history, where all of this began, back in the land of Canaan, and you probably have heard in the Bible, the land of Canaan. The Canaanites were Phoenician bloodline, and in the ancient Phoenician language, Cana meant merchant banker. The very word merchant comes from mer, M-E-R, for the sea, for water. As in mermaid, we have merchant. Merchant bankers. Let me give an example of the difference between the law of water and the law of the land. The law of water, as I said, is a law of banking, money, as opposed to the law of the custom of the people or the law of the land. The Statue of Liberty must be put in water. It could not be put on American land as such. It had to be put in the harbor because it's not the Statue of Freedom. It's a Statue of Liberty. Liberty is what a sailor gets when he pulls into port on a ship. He gets liberty. He's not free. So America is not the land of the free and the home of the brave. We're not free or brave, period. We're not free. This is not a free country.
Whoa.
Now, that's a heavy truth that people actually have no clue of. Absolutely no clue. And it gets deep. I encourage you to watch the video in the link after you finish this one, of course. And to do a little more research if you're not already aware. Because the truth of the matter is that, you know, back in the 1930s, I believe it was like 38, the U.S. and North America were going broke. And they needed money. And so they went to the World Bank, they went to the Rothschilds, who are the banking cartel of the world, looking for a loan. And in order to receive the loan, what they gave up as collateral is human life. You see, they knew that at a certain age, people would start work and they would start paying taxes. And that's what they did. They put a huge tax on humanity. They put an income tax on you to pay off this debt, of which was paid a very long time ago. But we continue to pay that debt, although the debt isn't even real. You see, we don't know what really goes on until we research and take a good look at the depths of the deceptions of this world. The same thing with feminism. Feminism was financed by the Rothschilds because they realized that all
He's
those
totally
women
right.
staying at home being moms and being
yes.
wives could be in the work world. And if they're in the work world, guess what? That's more taxes, more money earned for them. And as a result of them being in the work world, they had an opportunity to create preschools and start indoctrinating the minds of children at a younger age.
Yep.
I mean, these are
I made videos about
truths
this.
that, again, people just aren't aware of.
About
But
that one.
at any rate, I'm glad that you have come to some of these truths, and let's continue. And what they gave up was humanity. We became the debt. Your person, you, are a incorporation. You are a business being traded on the stock market, period. I would suggest if you're unaware of this knowledge that you look into it. And the bottom line is that they realized that the taxpayer, the slave, would pay off a debt, and that debt has been paid off long ago, but yet you're still paying it because you are a recipient to a debt in the eyes of those that control this world. You're a slave. You're a slave to a debt that has already been paid off. But they knew that the human life would at some point reach a place where they would be able to tax them. And that's how you became an incorporation. That's why all of your government ID, your birth certificate, your birth registration, your driver's licenses, all of your government ID is in capital letters. You don't write your name in capital letters. But it's in capital letters because you're an incorporation. The word person means incorporation. That's why when the police search you, they are searching your person. They are searching your incorporation. Now back to what I was saying. They manipulated us into being something that we are not. And they have indoctrinated us into being, as the world is, a world that they, by the way, control and design through the God of this world, of which we know to be Satan. So everything about you that you think is who you truly are is a deception. You're not an incorporation. You're a human life put here free to travel and go wherever you choose. That is your original design. That is your original creation. You are a free human being in the eyes of the Creator. You have free will. But your free will can only be free will if you know who you really are. If you align to the truth of your Creator, and if you align to the truth of which whom He created you in, and according to Him, you were created in His image and in His likeness. So again, who are you? Do you know who you are? Have you aligned to your truth, to that of which resides in you? Because if you still find yourself being identified by the world, then you're lying to yourself and you are projecting an untruth. Your true identity resides within you. Your true identity is written within your spirit, but your spirit can never know its true identity if it's dead. It'll never know.
Kind of dead.
And even spirits that are given life through Christ sometimes take a very long time to come to the truth of what is written within their spirit, of who they really are and who they are designed to be, who you were created to be. If you are created in the likeness of God, and your spirit is given life in that you would be with Christ and in Christ, and that your soul would begin the process of aligning to your spirit. Your soul comes out of its worldly identity and begins the process of being identified by that of which is within you. And that of which is within you is Christ, and that of which is within you is greater than that of which is in the world. In Christ, you can do all things. You can hold this together. You can break down the walls of deception. You can empower people with truth, and you can be identified in your true image, and that image is in the image of the Creator. How powerful is that? But you have to align your soul to a spirit given life through Christ in order to even begin the process of thinking about this identification, because the identification that you carry in your pocket, the identification you carry in your purse, in your wallet,
of the beast.
the identification that you show people when you're applying for anything, and application means to beg, registration means to hand authority over to. These are the laws that they don't tell you about, but these are the laws that actually exist, and these are the laws that you actually consent to. Because the identity in your pocket is not your true identity. But they've led you to believe that that's who you are. So there you are, there you go, consenting to a person, to a contract with a deceived world, to deceivers, that you would agree to be somebody you're not, and that you would understand, which means to stand under, the laws of a world that has done nothing but deceive its subjects, its useless eaters, and its slaves.
That's all we
The
are
true
to him
you
anyway.
does not reside in and of this world. The true you is not identified or is not a reflection of the deceptions of this world. The true you, who you are designed to be in the likeness of, is 100% pure truth and love, which was written into your spirit, and that spirit is aching to be united to your soul, that it could be at one with God, the creator of which is love and is truth. So again, who are you? Who do you identify yourself with? Do you reflect the world? Does the world look a lot like you? Are you operating and acting in the ways of this world? Are you more like the world? Or are you more like the creator, of which said you were made in his likeness? It's a very interesting and very deep thought. But this thought will lead you to a truth that you never knew existed. You need to figure out who it is that you are, so that when you look at your reflection, you can see your creator.
To the devil, black
And
man.
see the very hands that he fashioned you with. This is very, very deep. This is very, very powerful. This is why the church today is so lost, because they have no identity in Christ. Their identity is still very much in the ways of this world. They refuse to sever themselves from the world. They refuse to let go. They refuse to
It's our
accept
time.
that they would be different from this world, that they would be holy and separated from the identity placed on you, which is absolutely
Our time.
fake. You are literally carrying fake identification. Your true identification is in Christ. That is your true identification. I'm going to play a video and close this out. I want you guys to really watch this next portion of the video, and then I'll do my outro as usual. So for now, I'm just going to say, if you guys appreciate these messages, please sub the channel, share the videos, hit the like button, share them on Facebook, or I don't know where.
Flat out
share
elected,
them
if you
on,
guys can't tell.
your channels, share them on Twitter, share these videos. And as well, if you can, hit the like button. And as well, if you can,
What's
look at the
up?
description.
How's it going,
For
love?
ways to help others, become a Patreon to the channel, hit the like button, hit the update button, the bell. You know, I can't say this enough.
Good to see you here.
I want you guys to start participating more with Flat Out Elected. Join the Flat Out Elected page on Google Plus, our little community. Join Flat Out Elected to the back.
Okay, come on, get to your video.
Off YouTube, because that might happen. They certainly aren't showing me much love. It's
No, they don't like
him.
him.
Hate at this point. Look, I ask that God thoroughly bless you in this message, that you guys would receive this, align your souls to your spirit, come to the knowledge of who it is that you truly are.
Let's be over in a second,
Your
we'll get to it.
identity is not this world. As I said, you are carrying fake identification around, according to the word
No,
of
I
God.
did not.
You are made in the image of God. You are by
I did
no
not.
stretch a reflection of this world. Your truth is deep. It's inside you. I'm going to show you guys this video and you'll get a better understanding. I ask that God thoroughly bless you guys. You guys take care of yourself.
You are fearfully and wonderfully made. And the God of the heavens is
Okay.
the one who fashioned you together. And he knows your name tonight. And he knows every single thing there is to know about you. And he's made you a promise that for those who trust in him, he will literally hold them in his hand and carry them all the days of their life. This Psalm 33 that talks about a star-breathing God turns an interesting corner. It says, "For he spoke and it came to be. He commanded and it stood fast." That's power and awe. But now it gets very personal. From heaven, the Lord looks down and sees all mankind. From his dwelling place, he watches all who live on earth. He who forms the hearts of them all and is intimately acquainted with everything they do. And then he goes even further. And he says, the eyes of the Lord are on those who fear him, on those who hope in his unfailing love. And here comes his promise, to deliver them from death and to keep them alive in famine. And that is the promise tonight, because this building and our world is filled with hurting people, with lives that are spinning out of control, with pain that we didn't ask for or could never imagine. And God is making a promise to us tonight. He's saying, I am a universe maker and I am a heart former, but I'm also big enough to be intimately acquainted with all the circumstances of every one of your lives. And I promise you, no matter what comes in this lifetime, no matter how difficult the road or how dark the night, I will hold on to you, and I will literally hold you together and carry you through any and every circumstance that ever comes your way, any moment on this planet. It's the promise of God. And you say, well, man, that sounds good, but how do I know that's true in my life right now, Louis? I mean, that's really what we want to know tonight. And I'll tell you how you can know tonight that God will always hold you together, no matter what. It's by looking a little deeper into the human body, and it's a little protein molecule called laminin. That's about what I felt the first time I heard that. Long story short, the tour was winding down last time around. We were in Tyler, Texas. The night was over. A guy walks up to me. I wish I could tell you the whole story. It was so of God. Introduces himself to me. Says, how are you doing? I just want to say hello. I said, it's nice to meet you. He says, you guys winding the tour down? Where are you going to go from here? I said, well, I'm on my way back home to Atlanta, Georgia. He said, well, what's next for you? I said, I'm going to be preaching the next 2 Sundays for my pastor back in Atlanta. He said, oh, cool. What are you preaching on? I said, well, the series is on the glory of God in the human body. He said, that's really amazing. I'm a molecular biologist at the university down the road. Give me your talk. And I was like, oh, wow, I wasn't quite yet ready to unload the talk for a molecular biologist. So I kind of stumbled through what I had, and he's kind of being kind and gracious and like, that's good. And then he says, well, what's your big left hook? You got to have a left hook, a big finish, right? I said, I don't have a left hook yet. He said, oh, Louis. Oh, man, your left hook is laminin. And I'm totally blank on laminin. He goes, Louis, it's a cell adhesion molecule. Protein molecule? Do you know about proteins? I'm like, no. He said, Louis, cells organize into certain molecular structures, and that determines what protein there are. There are between 10 and 60,000 proteins in the human body. We don't even know how many proteins are in the human body. But one of them is a cell adhesion molecule. It's organized into this certain structure, and that tells the cell what its job is in the body. And this one is a cell adhesion molecule. And I'm like, all right. He said, no, Louis, it's like the rebar of the human body. The steel they put in the concrete when they lay the foundations of things, it's that stuff. It's holding your membranes together. It's the glue of the human body, Louis. It's laminin. You got to tell them about laminin. And I'm like, I promise you, I'm going home and tell them about laminin. And I'm sure when I do, revival is going to sweep across the church and probably around the world when I tell them. He said, no. You've got to see laminin. Like, okay, let's see it. He said, no. You need to go look it up online. You need to go Google laminin. I don't even know how to spell laminin. Takes his card out. He writes on the back, Laminin. Okay, I cannot wait to get to my computer and get on Google, click on images, type in laminin, and I'm waiting, and these little thumbnails come up on the screen, and I'm like, wow, that's laminin? The cell adhesion molecule. Woo! I am so excited. I am beside myself. I cannot believe what I'm seeing. I love laminin. I'm so fired up. You should see laminin, I guess. That's the thing, right? Here's a scientific diagram of the laminin cell adhesion molecule that's holding your body together right now. Okay, this is what I found right here.
It's a cross. Sorry, my phone sucks.
No, come on, that's crazy. That's just crazy.
Yeah. That's a laminin molecule. See, it said it's a rebar. That's funny.
I emailed that guy back so fast, I'm like, wow, what in the world? He said, you want to see an actual laminin molecule? I'm like, oh no, man, the diagram was cool for me. I'm happy with that. Don't bother sending anything else. I'm like, yes! He sends me this image, an electron microscopic image of an actual laminin protein molecule. It looks just like this. I'm like, how crazy is that? That the stuff that holds our bodies together, that's holding the lining of your organs together, holding your skin on, is in the perfect shape of the cross of our Lord Jesus Christ. And immediately I'm thinking about the words of Paul in Colossians 1. You know this beautiful passage where Paul's talking about the supremacy of Christ and the sufficiency of Christ. He says, for by him, talking about Jesus Christ, all things have been created. Things in heaven and things on earth. All things were created by Jesus and for Jesus. But then the next verse goes on to say this. It's crazy. And he, Jesus, is before all things.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Him, that is, in Jesus Christ, all things hold together.
I was hoping you guys would like this.
I'm like, of course they do. Of course they do.
I know sometimes I'm kind of back and forth on stuff. I know it's about over. I should let it finish. But, you know, I appreciate you guys being here. And I know some of the stuff it goes through, but I really do try to throw some really good, interesting stuff on here because it is pretty amazing when you start researching and finding stuff out, and you actually look at, you know, real people that actually do this real work.
Everything holds together in Jesus Christ. And he goes on at the end of this paragraph, and he just tells the story of grace. He says, for God was pleased to have all his
I hope you do.
dwell in Christ.
The more people that see it, the better.
To reconcile to himself all things by making peace through his blood shed on a cross.
Pretty crazy.
Talking to the principalities and reminding the powers and telling them who you are and what's going to happen. That's when you get an attitude. We have access to God with boldness and confidence. We can go boldly to the throne of God. We can go confidently to him. But what does the devil do? He keeps bringing up your past. He keeps bringing up your failures. He keeps bringing up your shortcomings. I'm not going to God on the basis of my righteousness, not my righteousness. I'm going on the basis of his righteousness and who he is.
Pretty crazy. I think I gotta... No, but really what I wanted to show is like just how everything that we're taught is a lie. You just see everything that's going on is just pretty much an insane lie to mess with our heads, and we're supposed to say thank you, may I have another, you know, constantly. It's sickening. It truly is. So how are you guys doing and what's going on? See, this is going to be one of our biggest problems right here. I'll show
Hi,
this.
President Trump. Our media company, Red Eyes, promoted you during the presidential campaign, and I voted for you. It was actually the only time I did vote. You are the sitting president of the United States of America, a country that many say is the most powerful nation in the world. A country that claims to be so great because they value free speech and free enterprise. But the truth is, free speech is dead in this country, and it's up to you to resurrect and protect it. Mega corporations and tech giants in America are run by leftists. It's why we no longer hear lefties crying about capitalism and corporate rule, because now they are the totalitarian corporations. This cabal is united against you and against all your supporters. In fact, every major facet of our society is controlled by them, from banking, big tech, and of course, the media. They defame and hate you, and they defame and hate me too. Lefty orgs such as the crooked ADL and SPLC are working with mega corporations and tech giants to ban and deny services to people on the right. To ban and deny services to your supporters at every turn. You are the sitting president of America. I am one of your supporters that has been discriminated against for my political views. Recently, PayPal banned our company because of the nature of our activities. This is insanity. My husband and I make videos commenting on the news. My adorable journalist friend Faith Goldie also banned from PayPal.
I love Faith
Many
Goldie.
on the right banned from PayPal, and it will continue. Our crime is that we are anti-left and dare to question mainstream narratives. Yet PayPal and other gateways have put us on a prohibited businesses list, putting us in the same category as drug dealers, terrorists, and scam artists. Pedophiles and perverts of every kind get more sympathy from these companies.
Yep.
I am a wife and a mother who never advocated for violence. You see, anyone who supports you and is strongly against leftist policy is deemed violent and dangerous. The fact is, every group is protected under discrimination laws, except for your supporters, except for people on the right. The fact is, mega tech giants claim to be against discrimination, but people such as myself are fair game to be discriminated against, slandered, and hated because we refuse to shut up and get in line with the leftist agenda. Trump supporters are the majority of this country, and yet the majority has zero protections. What are you going to do about your supporters who are turned away from restaurants, banned from platforms, and denied services simply because they support the sitting president of the USA? Meanwhile, these same companies say we never discriminate against people based on religion, sexuality, race, unless white, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Where's the protection for free speech, for political views, for questioning or being critical or disagreeing with anything? Trump, pass a law to protect your supporters, to protect free speech, and to protect differing political viewpoints. We all know if tables were turned, they would be crying fascism, demanding change. But when they dominate, they rejoice in the suppression and destruction of others.
Yep.
They already dominate everything, yet still cry fascism. They get a small taste of opposition and cry fascism. While there is a loud minority who thinks I deserve to be iced out of society, raped, murdered, and my children starved for my
These
views,
people are sick.
there are even more who support me. The only reason why this majority remains silent for now is because of the discrimination and retribution they will face at their jobs. Your supporters are being fired, banned, and attacked.
Oh, we all remember that.
For voting for you. What are you going to do about it? How is this even real in free speech, free market America? There are no free markets. Anytime an alternative platform arises, they are blocked by middlemen, such as Visa and MasterCard or ISPs. It is they who can't handle the competition. If Visa and MasterCard has this kind of power without any government intervention, then my gods, there will be no end to this. Bankers will and do have enormous power to discriminate against political views and completely ice someone out of the ability to provide for themselves, to live. How is this acceptable? If a free market means that PayPal can buy up every other company without limitations and have endless power to ban the people they don't agree with, then this market system is an enemy of the people. It's
Yep.
pretty much impossible for a true outsider to come in and start a bank or a new credit card processing avenue. It is a power-hungry, totalitarian cabal dictating who gets in.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Utilities such as electricity and water were made public precisely so that everyone could have equal access.
Should we have
and not
four
be
and then two?
discriminated
Like, what
against.
the hell?
The thing is, these insane leftists would support the ability to cut off someone's electricity and water if they thought someone was a Nazi. If someone's a Nazi, it's fair game for violence, rape, abuse, and theft. Today, an online presence and the ability to do business online is essential for most people's survival to feed their children. It is the town square. It is impossible for most people to participate in the modern world without the internet and the dominant platforms. Personal and social life, professional life, career opportunities, freedom of expression, including the freedom to engage in political debate, are all done online these days. Censorship and banning people on the right won't end until you do something about it. If the free market is free to discriminate in some cases but not others, where does it end? Then banks will refuse to lend money based on your views. Landlords will deny contracts, gas stations deny service, grocery stores no food, clothing stores nope, can't shop here, cell phones deny service. There is no end to how far this will go unless we stop it. I am discriminated against for ideas. That is my crime. Thinking different. We live in a world where communists and violent lefties who support an ideology that has mass murdered millions have free reign and protections. And the sickening thing is, most of these huge companies would be nowhere if it weren't for mostly straight, white, right-leaning men. But now that they're too big to challenge, they openly discriminate against straight white men who oppose the anti-white male agenda. They use this demographic to ultimately destroy this demographic, and that was probably their plan all along. Commies always had the agenda to use capitalism as their tool. I have committed no crime other than thinking differently and challenging the status quo, and for that Red Ice is a prohibited business. The funny thing is that according to PayPal's governance guidelines, they say they respect and value uniqueness. Check this out. Actively listen and seek diversity of thought. Lies! What a joke! They don't want diversity of thought. They want leftist domination. Well, to those who say you deserve it because you talked about X, Y, and Z, then you too support thought policing. Well, eventually, it will come back around to you. Trump, they also would love nothing more than for your family to be completely broken and cut off. We're dealing with maniacs and power who need to be restrained. It's not even about money anymore. It's about ideology and social engineering. You don't have to agree with everything I say, but agree with this. We must put an end to censorship and the murder of free speech, free thought, and free association. I am not a supporter of censorship in any form. It always backfires. Where are you, Trump? I and many with me urge you to take action and enable protections for free speech and against political discrimination. Our country is not free. Trump, help us. Everyone, please write PayPal via email, snail mail, and call them nonstop. Keep it coming and let them know how you feel about Red Eyes, Faith Goldie, and many others on the right being banned from their service for thinking different. Here is the email for CEO Dan Schulman, President in San Jose.
Please, seriously, share this crap with everyone. I'm trying to put everything together, trying to show people, like, we're not really free. I don't know when you hopped on. But like, if you go back and you just see the difference of the name or what words really mean and laws and how much money is one law and the law we have is a complete different one because we don't have money. Like, when you start looking at all that and you see how like literally depraved it is, and we don't even know. We have no freaking idea. It's freaking sick, but yes, please share it with everybody.
We asked the president about,
especially if you freaking send them to my channel, that's even better. But even if you just find the link and send it to them, I mean, that's awesome. But no, it is, something that people need to understand and see and freaking pass along. All right, well, just like always, Jesuits or the real power, hungry, bloodthirsty, globalist, fascist, rats, Luciferian Satanist. Yes, they are. Yes, Lil White. Yes, they are. Thank you for being here. It's funny, I'm getting messages from multiple people, and it shows me I have one person here. So always just give me a thumbs up, because I always like that. And it's supposed to help other people get here. I don't know how that's supposed to work, but I've heard that. But yeah, seriously, hey man, definitely share it with everybody. I mean, like I said, especially if you send them here. No, it is a disgusting, freaking bloodthirsty world that we live in, and we think we're free, and we're really the biggest slaves in the world. Oh, well, thank you for being here to watch it. So I don't feel like, it really, I mean, I'm glad to have people here watching and all that. But the main reason that I do all of this, well, until when I stop and, make time for you guys and do this. But I just can't help but want to learn all this stuff and figure this stuff out and, see what it is. And then after you come to learn so much, how do you not want to show it with like-minded people to help them open their eyes, especially if you realize how hard it was for you to open up your own eyes. You want to do what you can, to help out other people. All right. Well, let's get on to this one. And just like always, you guys want to talk, stop, go over something, just freaking throw down a message. I'll stop the video.
Council, I'm here to talk about item number 10. The agenda to get us out of our cars and off our bicycles continues on in this city.
This is about Agenda 21.
It says on the PDF online that the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments received a grant from the California Transportation Commission.
Why is this
so they can put bikes all over the San Gabriel Valley. This is exactly what is wrong with the city. There's this attitude around here about it's not my money, so we can waste it however we want. That is my money.
That's
I
right.
pay taxes to this city, to the state, to the federal government. I don't care if the money isn't coming out of the West Covina General Fund. It's still our tax dollars, and like always, it's being wasted on stupid things that the majority of the population doesn't want. And we know that most people don't want this because the free market tells us so by the fact that 95% of all people in this area are driving around in cars. If people wanted out of their cars, they would do so. It may not look like it on the surface, but this idea of trying to get everyone pedaling around on bicycles is Marxism. All these people we see on TV who are always talking about ending capitalism and how they want to change the system are the ones behind these ideas. You see, we have to end car ownership because car ownership represents two things to the Marxists. It represents the ownership of private property and it represents inequality. Car ownership is inequality because not everyone has the same car, and that's just not fair. But you put out those little green bicycles and now suddenly we are living under total equality. If we get people to stop driving and they start actively transporting themselves, that's going to destroy our economy.
Yep.
Because that will severely limit how many places people can travel to in a single day. But that's the agenda. The Marxists want to destroy capitalism and usher in a new economy. They want to change the system from capitalism and private ownership to communism where no one owns anything and the government controls everything. Government-run bike share where the government owns the bikes is the infrastructure of this new system. In communist society, there is a tiny wealthy elite at the very top controlling everything, and then there are the poor, starving masses. This is more evident in California right now than in any other state in the country. It is very obvious to me what is being planned. A future is being planned where everyone is in dire poverty and no one owns anything.
That's where they're trying to get us. Looking right in front of our eyes. Yeah, no, Europe full victim under, again, by evil New World Order, Luciferian, Illuminati, globalist, fascist. No, and that is the saddest thing is, people don't even realize it's like they're doing this right in front of our faces and they're telling us and we still don't even freaking open up our damn eyes. I mean, come on, people. If we're the body of Christ, do we really need to wait for Christ to come back and let them completely rule the whole world, or do we just take our world back? I mean, shit, we are the body of Christ.
Because once again, private ownership
Sorry, getting a little cray-cray.
We are going to be so poor that we won't even own our own bicycles. That's why government wants to install bike share at the affordable rate of $7 per hour. Something I would like to point out is that naysayers always tell us that these bikes are for cyclists and to give people other options. That is a very disingenuous statement because you can't say that with a straight face and then call it active transportation. Active transportation is the idea that you are going to actively transport yourself from point A to point B. This is about setting up a permanent infrastructure for the massive underclass of the future. Fortunately, our city is linked to this game, and this bike share business has been tried out all over the country and has proven to be a failure. In the first round of failures, the government, in all of its wisdom, thought the program would work better if they kept the bikes but got rid of the bike stations, and they wanted the users to leave the bikes anywhere they want. The result is big cities have these junky green bikes that no one is taking care of, just lying around everywhere. In the documents online, it said that this city would have this very system where people can leave the bikes wherever they want. Is that what we want for our city? Green bikes lying on the ground all over town?
They are.
The city of Pasadena, a member of Italy, did this very program.
No, what is so funny is what I laugh about. You know, I'll get into it after this, but after this video is over, just remind me of my real thoughts of why they've changed racism.
Announced only a year later that it was a failure. We are in the 21st century, and we are regressing in the name of progress. When I was growing up in the 90s, China had a reputation as being a country full of poor people where everyone rode bikes. America had a reputation of being a wealthy country where everyone drove cars. China is much wealthier now, and people are driving. Meanwhile, America is going back to bicycles. Do the right thing. Stop the social engineering. Stop wasting our money, and stop allowing this Marxism into our city. Thank you.
How many of these fuckers up there are sitting there going, God, this dude knows exactly what the hell we're doing, and just called us out?
I'd like to start off first before we do our poll item number 10. Next question is item number 10. I pulled this because before it was even brought up tonight, I convinced we heard on the news about all these bicycles down in LA, whatever it was, all over the place. I mean, people ride these bikes, they just park them somewhere. And you have people tripping over them, you have people falling and stuff. So, I don't know what we have to do, but I would like to see this thing continue a while and just get it in. If I can do that, I'll break it. Is that a motion to reject? It's a motion to reject it.
Dude, are you gonna tell me he really changed their minds? Oh God. Oh, okay, he's online. Oh, imagine this.
Destination you plug in, and it is very functional. Okay, and then the computer was basically is you use the GPS, okay, and you're driving around and then you down many places. So I need to see.
Okay. You say 70% of the United States presidents were evil globalist puppets who were ordered to destroy America within. You know, I can't say 70%, but in a big way, I would agree with you. You know, I mean, if you even go back to Lincoln, you know, people think he was one of the greatest presidents. You look at him, and really, he wasn't. This, that, the other thing. He did keep America together, but it would have stayed together too if the South would have won. So, and you know, not to say whatever. That is a sensitive thing for most people that don't know the real history. Because I spent all my time learning all the fake history, and then came around to actually starting to learn real history. So I know both sides. So, but you know, I like the great saying of what is it? If you're not a liberal by 20, you don't have a heart. If you're not a Democrat by 30, you don't have a brain. All right, let's finish this up, and don't forget to get back to me on that question that I told you. That answer I wanted to give you.
And the problem I have is, but it's different country, different city. This is California. This is West Covina. I barely to see any bicyclists riding on the bike. I'm the person. I have about 5, 6, 7 bikes in my garage collect dust. Okay, because I don't think this thing is safe to ride a bike on the street for my kid or myself. So I don't know how safe for people to do it. The only way if this will work is if in the downtown area or some area, we have a hotel. We have a 4-star hotel, and the people come over here, they want to go to the downtown, and they can park in their car and get out the bike and ride into another area. Okay, but I don't even think they trust our street. I don't want a bunch of people get killed. Okay, because our motorists don't even see the bike. Bicyclists around. In last year.
No, he's coming up with the excuse.
Not only this time we only have much fewer, so because we for the traffic. But the point is this. how safe, okay, and for the people driving this share bike, and how feasible you want to connect different cities, okay, and from the Pandora, from St. Dimas, and this and that. I think for the county or the state thinking about we can do this and connect together, go to Santa Monica, go to the ocean, okay, but I don't think, okay, this work. Okay, I see Arcadia, Temple City have a bike lane, and again, I have always over there, I barely see any bikers. So it's just waste of money and use the taxpayer money into something that's not really usable. Or maybe we can have one or two, but I don't see people, okay, riding as their transportation to go to one destination to another destination. I don't even ride my bike and put something, go to the 7-Eleven, I make a run, okay, because, okay, you don't even where to put your bike. You have a place to lock your bike and this and that. So I don't know how feasible, because the culture is different. Okay, I think I know we want to go green, but this is a potential. It's not really into kind of populous yet. So maybe in the future, but I don't think right now. So I cannot support this.
Okay, we had a motion and a second to reject it. Roll call, please.
Spence?
Aye.
Keller?
No.
Workshop?
No.
Wu?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye. Passes 3-2.
It passes through. I thought.
Item number 11.
Whoa! Wait, did they say it passed through? Did I miss that? Okay, maybe I'm crazy. I'm not even gonna try to go back. But like, did they really? The guys that talked the crap about it the most said aye, not nay. That was weird. Whatever. All right. Yeah, we all know how crap works. Works like that, right? All right. So, okay. So you really think 70%? But yes, I will admit, at least 50% of our presidents have been treasonous. And it's funny, and that's the left knows that, and they know that's mainly their side. And that's why they're coming after Trump for it, because the main reason in my eyes that they're going after Trump for all the crap that they are, what they're trying to, is because they know that's what they've done. So it's kind of like, if I can call you out for it first, you can't say that I dealt it. You can't say that. Whoever smelt it dealt it. I really think that's what it's about. I think, because what else do they got? I mean, the hypocrisy of this freaking everything that's going on. And it's hard to be on one side or another. Like, hey, I think Trump is like a Kennedy. I think he really, whatever. Not to say the Kennedys are perfect, this, that, or the other thing, but hey, what man is, especially with power. Power corrupts, absolute power corrupts. But the one thing with Trump, he already had power. That's one of the other things too. And I think Kennedy coming up, even though they wanted him to be what they wanted him to be. I mean, I have video. I put videos down, and it slows down the frame by frame of the Kennedy assassination. He gets cracked by one bullet, and Jackie goes up to grab him to see if he's okay, and then you see the top of his brain blow off, and the only where that bullet could have come from was from freaking underneath her hand. And then she hops into the back to where the guy's on the back of the car and like drops something, like she's trying to reach to him, and then gets back, and you can see the silver thing. You have to go find it. Who knows, it's probably about 150 videos back. I know I don't have my stuff set up right. So you can go find stuff, or like I would remember the name. I've made more freaking videos than I have subscribers. Which, yeah, that's kind of weird. They really must not like the crap that I put out. But it is weird when you see that and you're like, dude, the second bullet seems like it came from Jackie. Like, that's the insane part. But hey, can't say this or that. Things can be messed with, but that's what I noticed. Everyone thinks it is from Al Johnston. Definitely think Trump is the one. I really hope he is, The one thing that I do know, they're all of the one thing that I do know, I mean, he's like 18th cousins to Hillary. I know that's like far removed and all that, or whatever the hell they call it. But I do think, there are the bloodlines that have put themselves in there, but you got to realize you would hope through all of them that not everyone would be a corrupt Satanist motherfucker, because you know what? I've seen lists that have been sneaking out of the Bohemian Grove and all that shit. And guess what? Trump's name has never been on one of them. And, it's kind of funny. They do that. They invite the Pope. They have the other thing. Pope gets invited. Did anybody hear about the Pope freaking being arrested? And then the 4 guys that arrested him for, crimes against humanity got the living shit kicked out of him. And supposedly he's got it. And it was going to be on like the summer, winter solstice, whatever the hell. Yeah, summer solstice. The left are evil. They are. And okay, so yeah, one thing that I was gonna talk about before is they've changed the paradigm of everything. I mean, if you think about it, the left was supposedly the ones that did Jim Crow laws, this, that, the other thing. I mean, all the really horrible shit. The left was the KKK, all that shit. And they've been able to push that on to the South. And if you look at the South, for the most part, the South isn't really racist. Everything that goes on kind of in the North, it's like everything's kind of turned tipsy-topsy and changed a little bit. Because, okay, yep, sick pedo, Satanist. Oh yeah, the Pope is. I mean, look how the other one had to step down. And now they're talking about, but the other one had to step down, Pope Francis or whatever, and oh god, so he had to step down, and now they want this one to step down because they know that they're going to be coming after him because people know what's going on. He's been too blatant about it. So even his own little pedophiles, that his own little minions, want to get him out of there so that they don't have the flack on them. I mean, that's the worst part about how sick this damn world is. It really freaking is. It's disgusting. And they're just, it just really seems like they make us feel like there's nothing that we can do about it, but we outnumber them. They fake us with making us not realize who we are. They fake us with them having more money, more power, more this or that. And we just forget, that we do have the power, but we don't have the power divided. And they do a very good job at dividing us. They really do. I mean, they've been doing this, though, for thousands of years. You think they don't know what the heck they're doing? I mean, they've got it down. I mean, even look at the stuff where they say, well, hey, we can't even censor, Holocaust deniers because they're not trying to fake anybody. They just don't know or this or that. But they literally shut them down by 87 to 98%. I mean, I don't know exactly how much they shut me down by, but when I wasn't in trouble, that I could get 27,000 views in 4 hours and 200 subscribers. Now I can't get and that we're talking 4 hours. I can't get 200 subscribers in 4 freaking months now. I mean, it's freaking hilarious. But that's what happens when you actually talk about real stuff and you try to spread real truth. They really don't like that now, do they? All right. Well, you guys aren't chiming in too much, so let me see what else we got. That's funny.
Look at this! I got 3 days.
What the hell? We're living in a very evil time, but what do you think about all those prophecies of American into darkness under the nuclear bomb? I don't know. I've looked into a lot of research about nukes and all that type of shit, and people that worked on them and all that, talking about how they're pretty much fake. I can't say that I know this for sure, for real, whatever, but I've actually done a lot of research on it and looked at some pretty credible dudes, some of them killed because of it, talking about how they used to go into the nuclear reactor and kick around the rods and pick them up and put them back in place. Never had a problem. You look at Nagasaki, Hiroshima, they got blown up by nuclear bombs, right? Well, it's kind of weird. Those are some of the most beautiful places. I thought radiation was supposed to decimate shit for forever. This, that, and other thing. And, you know, I really think that even because I was in Hawaii when the crap happened in Japan. We were waiting for the freaking tidal wave because we thought there was going to be tsunami, all that crap. No tsunami. Damn, motherfucker, you going fast enough, mate? Jackass. And we never felt any radiation or anything like that, but they talk about all the ocean is radiated and all that, and there's all this mercury in there, and all that shit, I think, is from the damn chemtrails. Yeah, you know that Hawaii wasn't accident, right? Oh, no. Oh, I found this other research on Hawaii that it showed this guy started looking at where all the, he put a map on it and started looking at where all the, and this is everybody on the West Coast, you should be really thinking about this. I made a video or two, I think, about it, hopefully. That he started looking at it, it was all in a grid pattern. Roll in a grid pattern, hitting it with all this stuff. And what's really weird, this guy put it all together and he is like, look, it's all in a grid pattern for this little spot, for not this little spot, a good chunk of the island that they're hitting in a grid pattern, just like you would kind of do if you were like doing detonations, you know, like if you're going to blow off the side of a mountain, right? This is what's happening, and I really know this is probably the last time, not that I got in trouble, but they probably way more censored my ass, because I did put a video out about this. So they put all these little things in there, just kind of like if you're going to blow out a side of a mountain. If you've ever watched them do that, I know a lot of people have. So you boom, boom, and it's in the same grid pattern where all those volcanoes are happening. And guess what? When that big-ass chunk falls down into the ocean, see, it's kind of right at a spot to where, you know, sometimes, you know, here's land, and then, you know, it just gradually goes like this, or it even, you know, just woo. Well, no, this goes like this, a sheer fucking cliff down 10,000 feet. So when you're talking about millions of literally cubic feet, tons, whatever it ends up being, bitch, it's a lot. I can't tell you the number. But that slides down 10,000 feet into the ocean. Do you know the tsunami that it is going to push off? And it's even going to be worse because it's going to push so much down right there. I'm sure there's going to be a big, bad freaking overflow that just goes up onto Hawaii too, but who knows? That sucks because I have a friend that has her grandkids there. But no, what's even going to be worse if you're on the West Coast is 10,000 feet down. And that is kind of the estimate that people have said, like 1,000 foot. Or, you know, 1,000-foot tsunami. So that would mean if that dropped that down, pushed down 10,000 feet, push that off, and then by the time it would get here, maybe be 1,000 feet. I'm hoping it wouldn't, but realizing that it's dropping down 10,000 feet, it kind of wouldn't surprise me if it was about 500 or 300 feet freaking tall. And hopefully, you know, it would end up only being 100. But yeah, who the hell knows? I mean, physically, possibly, mathematically, I don't think it could be more than about 800. But could you imagine that? The whole West Coast fucked. Has anybody seen the maps that they've shown on what the West Coast will look like? This, that, and other thing? Because the West Coast would look a lot different if it got flash flooded up like that and all the dams got busted. Everything would look a lot different because a lot would get washed away and eroded. So it is kind of crazy. Yes, it is. New World. No, they are. I'm telling you, they're doing it in a freaking grid pattern, just like they're dropping TNT to blow up a mountain, and you see it. Well, they're just doing it one at a time. And here's the scariest thing. I heard another guy saying that when they're ready to drop it, they're going to drop the golden rod of God, or the rod of God. And I know this is mentioned in some older text. I forget what it is, but I've had other people show me that it is actually a weapon that our military has. Like literally probably just, you know, something that is in one of their high altitude freaking balloons that just literally shoots off like a rocket, or just literally drops a fucking nuclear or a fucking, who knows? You know, they got some pretty powerful explosives, whatever, a rod that is just going to hit right in the middle of all of it. And then just, and no matter what, if you think about it, anybody there with a camera that would catch it is going to be incinerated. The only way that any feed of that would ever get, like, think about that. So there most likely would not even be any feed of it, even though that everybody and their mom has a damn freaking camera in their pocket. It'd be something that would be so fast and so just boom and massive. It would just, I'm pretty sure just about everything around will probably be incinerated, but who knows? Maybe it's meant to just penetrate for 3 or 4 miles so they know that it cracks it off. But I just, with whatever's under there. And you know, one thing I've learned too is, how weird is it that the ocean water is so toxic? Because, you know, you could sit there and just drink salt water all day. You could put regular salt, even salt that you get out of the ocean, that you let all of the water, let all of that water freaking evaporate, and then you scrape off all that salt. You put it into water, you could drink it all day, salt water. You'd be fine. But why is it that you can't drink the salt water out of the ocean? I think it's because, you know, before the flood, what truly happened was we were technological, this, that, and the other thing, and I think they flooded and destroyed fucking everything, and that's why the ocean is fucking toxic, and you can't drink the water. And I think it's still, I really do. Golden rod of God. High altitude. Yeah, okay, so you know what I'm talking about. A high altitude weapon that the Pentagon has, and Pentagon owns by the deep state globalist. Okay, see, I look at a lot of stuff, so I do remember certain parts, but yes, thank you. Thank you for clearing that up and finding that or knowing that yourself. So that's what it's going to be. And you know, it's really funny. There's going to be a blood moon on the 27th, a full blood moon or whatever. And we've had quite a few lately, because what's funny is, I'm watching that blood moon, it's going to be turning into my birthday. So I think that's going to be really, really funny, and that is interesting to me. Like, really? That'd be some just funny ass crap if whatever happened just happened on that day. That'd make me really open my eyes a lot more to why I've been opening my eyes. But whatever. Alright, let's see what else we got here, people. Dun, 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 dun. I did want to show you some insanity of the world. I'm starting to think that I don't have it on here. Son of a bee. Hold on. Ocean species are dying in full extinction because globalist factions are trying to pollute and destroy our Earth. Well, yeah, no, they are, and the reason that they're trying to pollute and destroy our Earth is because, you know, they keep pushing the same agenda too, like that we got to get off of the planet. We got to get off the planet, and that we got to start going more biological, more this, more that, more yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, usually I celebrate the whole month. Not this year. I'm not such a bad boy anymore. But no, it is funny because they're just completely poisoning us so that we will end up taking their pills. We'll take their injections. I mean, you go all the way back to look at Monsanto's. I mean, you think Monsanto's decided to start making seeds that wouldn't regrow other seeds, but they grew really well under a whole bunch of poison being dropped from the sky? No, they did that on purpose. And now it's really hard to find any damn seeds anywhere. Why do you think they freaking made the 2 seed banks that they've made with all the seeds? Because after they freaking done poisoning that,
All right,
the
he's
whole
back with us.
thing,
He's the host of CRTV's.
after they've got done poisoning this whole damn world and killed off all of us and get it back to what they want at the Georgia Guidestones, what is it, 500 million people? I think is all they want. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. They want 500 million people. So as soon as they've done that, and they think they're gonna live under their underground bunkers, idiots. Because the one thing they don't get, there are even these billionaires that are like, if you've ever looked up, billionaire or millionaire, bunkers, and one of their biggest questions is, how am I gonna keep my security in line? How do you keep your security in line when you need such a big security to protect your big freaking safe space that you've made for yourself because you have all this money? You're going to need regular Joe Schmoes that know how to cook, work on engines, work on things, work on keeping everything safe, carrying around and protecting you in case a horde of freaking crazy people want to get in or find your place or find out about. It's like, how do you control these people that when money doesn't matter anymore? That's one of the funny things that I think that why they haven't done this. I mean, think about it. People get scared of their military and all this, just like in that one video. But who is the military? The military is what? Our fathers, our mothers, our brothers, our sisters, our sons, our daughters. So you can't just get the average Joe Schmo to just go down and mow down people or kill people. And once money isn't worth anything, these people, you got to find a perfect person that has no kids, that just has a complete loyalty to you. Good luck, because that was their plan. So I think they realize they're going to have to wait a little bit longer till they have more viable robots that they can do it in that type of way. Monsanto's GMO chemtrails poisoning foods, water, air. Excuse me. We are soon done with these New World Order, Luciferian, Satanists, fascist, Jesuits. Yes, no. It's if we don't get them the hell out of Dodge and out of control, we're just gonna get sicker and sicker. I mean, people talk about, we live in the greatest times ever. People are living longer and longer. No, if you actually look at statistics, people are actually dying a lot younger every year. Before you could go out to any stream just about and go get fresh water. 70, even, just go back to the 70s, 40, 50 years ago. Isn't that funny? The 70s is like 50 years ago almost. You go back to then and you could pretty much go to any stream and drink all the water you wanted out of that stream and not have a problem. Now you go to any stream and you actually freaking pull water out and you test it. You test soil. There's freaking nothing but freaking aluminum. Not nothing, but there's freaking 100 times more aluminum oxide, freaking barium, strontium, 50 other ones that I've heard 100 times but aren't on the top of my head. You guys know what I mean. And we're supposed to think that this is normal. And it's complete insanity. And the more it just sucks more than anything is you can't get people to open their eyes. But then you see, there are a lot of us with our eyes open, but if you guys are like me, opening up the eyes of the ones closest to you is the hardest. You're like, why aren't you listening? Well, you smoke cigarettes and you do this and that is horrible. I'm like, well, I do that on purpose to my body, and I do that willingly knowing what I'm doing, and I pay to do that to my body. I'm not paying to be sprayed. Well, the sad thing is it's our tax dollar, so we are paying for it. But it's like, I don't consent to that. I consent to having a cigarette. I consent to having a drink. I don't consent to fucking breathing in this freaking crap from the freaking air. But I don't know. It's just irritating that people have drank so much of the fluoridated water and so much of the Kool-Aid that you just can't get them to open up their minds. I mean, I found videos of where people are in like this, like late 70s and the 80s marching, saying, stop chemtrailing us, stop spraying us. So people knew this freaking back in our parents' ages. And And we're sitting here saying the same thing that was actually scientifically proven, and you can even look it up yourself, and they even admit to it. They call it solar shield. Say they're trying to save us from global warming. I don't know how putting a whole bunch of reflective metal up in the sky is gonna keep it cooler, but that's what they say. Yeah, well, it's fucking insanity. All right, and the moon is local, and so is the sun. People are dying much younger and days because food junk that is always shown down the throats. Yeah, I mean, when it's cheaper to eat and easier to eat, crappy food that they make, people will. The main thing that I say for people, if you're just whatever, I'm not saying freaking spend hundreds of dollars or anything, but not a bad idea to spend $20, $30 on some actually non-GMO seeds, because even if those seeds, even those will grow, they might not grow as great a fruit at first, this, that, or whatever, especially, another 5-10 years of being poisoned. But those seeds, whatever fruits they grow, the seeds that you get out of that fruit or vegetable, whatever, will actually be able to grow another plant, unlike the ones that you buy out of the store. I think I threw what was it? One time, hundreds of bell pepper seeds. I just threw all the bell pepper seeds all winter, all threw them out, and only a very few came up, and they didn't grow any fruit. Yeah. So I suggest you be smart, spend a couple dollars on some actually fruits and vegetables that you'd want to eat that that could actually regrow the next year with the seeds, because that might end up being a big deal. I hope it doesn't get to that point. I hope we fix it. But all right, I think I did have one other video. I think let's just get into the insanity, I guess, that was going on with Trump and shit.
All right, he's back with us. He's the host of CRTV's Levin TV, the host of Life, Liberty, Levin, the number one show.
Hey, what's up? You back? I hope you shared it. No GMO seeds. No, I'm telling you, not saying go and spend hundreds of dollars, but just what you'd want to eat. And hey, whether you get a whole bunch of fruit or big fruit, at least that fruit seeds will grow something the next year. That, and most people don't think about that. It's like they think just buying a whole bunch of seeds is great, but they don't realize those seeds aren't going to work. You'll get a crop out of them eating your GMO crap, killing you after you can't find anything else. But then no matter how many of those seeds you try to grow, even if a plant grows, you'd be lucky if even one thing grew on it. But from what I saw, it was nothing. All right, let's look at some insanity.
Several months ago in this show, we broke the story of Tony Podesta's lobbying for Ukraine. Podesta, of course, is the founder of the now defunct Podesta Group, which for years is one of the biggest Democratic firms.
Hey, thank you for being here, little white.
Campaign chairman John Podesta is also a close friend and a major fundraiser for Bill and Hillary Clinton. Now, the Podesta Group, we reported, worked with Paul Manafort to lobby on behalf of Ukrainian interests in the United States without properly registering at the time under the Foreign Agent Registration Act, which is called FARA. Manafort got in big trouble for that. He's now being held in solitary confinement. He's looking at a light sentence behind bars. And Tony Podesta? Whatever happened to him? Well, tonight we can report exclusively, based on two separate sources we spoke to today, that Tony Podesta has been offered immunity by Robert Mueller to testify against Paul Manafort. In other words, for a near identical crime, Bill and Hillary's friend could skate and emerge completely unscathed, while Paul Manafort may rot in jail. Only one of them made the mistake of chairing Donald Trump's presidential campaign. Maybe the most amazing is the pretext under which all of this is happening. The FARA law was passed back in 1938 in order to prevent the Nazi government from lobbying in the U.S. Over a 50-year period, from 1966 to 2015, a total of only 7 people were criminally charged under FARA. Many more could have been charged. Washington is brimming with unregistered foreign agents and has been for decades. And yet only 7 people were charged over 50 years. And yet in recent months, 3 people have been charged under FARA. What do they have in common? You guessed it, some connection to Donald Trump. Federal laws ought to be enforced. Unlike the left, we actually believe that. But they must be enforced equally, or they're not laws at all. They're political cudgels and tools of social control. They become illegitimate and scary. In this case, ought to make you nervous. Well, John Brennan, of course, ran the CIA under Barack Obama. Now he's a cable news shouter, a paid analyst for MSNBC who insults Donald Trump and advocates for the Democratic Party. Brennan no longer works for the federal government in any capacity. He holds no official post. And yet, according to two sources we spoke to exclusively today,
he still has
Brennan
authorization.
retains perhaps the most valuable asset he had in government, a top secret security clearance.
Yeah,
this
why?
allows him to do what the rest of us cannot do: view classified government documents and, more critically, discuss classified topics with intelligence officials still working in government, and then leak that information to the press.
That makes no sense.
Awesome power. Our intelligence agencies keep America's most sensitive secrets. They hold highly personal information on every American, including you. It is terrifying to think that John Brennan still has access to any of that information. Brennan is an out-of-the-closet extremist. This week, he accused Donald Trump of treason, a death penalty offense. On Tuesday, he suggested it would be reasonable for the intelligence agencies to conceal information from the president. That's a violation of their charter and a violation of federal law. On Twitter, Brennan routinely makes florid threats, addressing his tweets directly to the president like a crazy person. Earlier this year, for example, Brennan wrote this, quote, "When the full extent of your venality, moral turpitude, and political corruption becomes known, you will take your rightful place as a disgraced demagogue in the dustbin of history. America will triumph over you." You could almost hear his fingers smashing the keyboard. Not a stable man. Brennan is also a passionate ideologue with a documented history of dishonesty, and not just a little bit, a lot. As CIA director, he lied about spying on Senate staffers, which the CIA did, and about killing civilians with drone strikes. He lied about the Steele dossier, famously. In 2010, he prevented the CIA from referring to Islamic militants as jihadists because, and we're quoting now, "Jihad is a holy struggle and a legitimate tenet of Islam." This is not a man who should have security clearance. We called NBC News today to ask if Brennan has revealed classified information on their air, or whether he's passed that information to his colleagues at NBC. NBC did not respond. But Brennan is not the only reckless partisan with a history of dishonesty who retains a government security clearance. Jim Clapper, the former director of national intelligence, appears to have one too. Same with Michael Hayden, another former CIA director. Hayden recently suggested the president is carrying out a second Holocaust on the Mexican border. In case you're wondering how classified information winds up in the media on a near-daily basis, the New York Times story this morning, all of it designed to undermine the elected president and bolster the Democratic Party, now you have some sense. You hate to think the deep state is real, that there's a permanent government that operates independently of voters and of democracy itself. But as long as guys like this have security clearances, honestly, you've got to wonder. Senator Rand Paul represents the Commonwealth of Kentucky. He is worried about this. We talked to him about it a short time ago. Senator, thanks for joining us.
Sure.
John Brennan is an irresponsible partisan combatant who works for a cable news channel and has threatened the president on Twitter. Why in the world would he have a top secret federal security clearance?
Now, this is alarming. And if John Brennan still has top secret clearance, can he research Donald Trump? Can he research his family? Can he type my name into computer search engines? Can he look at all of my information? It's alarming. If he has top secret clearance, as unhinged as he is now, calling the president treasonous, saying basically that he's for, the death penalty for the president. Yeah, it's alarming. If he has security clearance, it's absolutely alarming.
So we've spoken to knowledgeable sources on this question who say he does. We tried to confirm that with the CIA. They refused to comment on it. We asked
That's disturbing.
his employer. They refused to comment on it. We believe it to be true. What to current employees of the CIA
that's pretty good, wasn't it?
Agencies in getting information, secret information from them that could be leaked to the press or used against his political opponents.
Well, John Brennan has a history of leaking information already, not only for political reasons, but a few years ago he linked that there was an inside informant in Yemen while that person was still on the inside in Yemen. He put that person's life at risk. They all backpedaled, and they had to rescue someone out of Yemen who was at the heart of an Al-Qaeda, project trying to discover what Al-Qaeda's plans were in Yemen, but John Brennan leaked their name. So he's got a history of having a problem with leaking. Head of the CIA, who in their right mind would want to let him have the power still to search through everybody's records?
He's a private citizen who works for a cable news station. Can I get a top secret security clearance and find out government secrets and use them in the course of my job? I mean, what is this?
No, I think it's completely crazy, and I think the idea that he could be passing secrets to the media, yeah, that's alarming. And then,
well, what can be done?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to send a letter not only to the president asking whether he still has clearance, which I think the president might be interested in this issue. I'm sending the letter also to Sessions and also to Dan Coates, who's over all of the intelligence. So we are going to press the case. And
how about a phone call?
Does John Brennan still have clearance? And really, should a person who has called the president treasonous have top secret clearance?
Or threatened him? But it's not just Brennan. It is potentially, and we believe it is also Clapper, Susan Rice, people who are active participants in current partisan warfare.
Right.
Shouldn't there be some mechanism to prevent people who are engaged in partisan warfare from having top secret?
This is something I've advocated for years, and that's to have oversight of the intelligence community by having judges grant warrants. So they would have to go to a judge to have permission to look at a database. I don't want them researching Donald Trump's political supporters, their records, their bank records, their phone records. The way to stop it is to have an overall reform. And in fact, I'm going to talk with the president on Monday, and we're going to ask the president, will you institute a new rule at the FBI that says they cannot search these foreign databases for Americans' material without asking a judge for permission.
Thank you for doing that. I'm sorry it's taken this long for someone to do something about it.
Blah, we're sorry. No. That's just how it's set up. It's shameful. And you're apologizing to the dude that should have already taken care of it. That's the saddest part. All right. I love you all. Never forget you are the resistance.